just overlook me. Yeah, if things don't pan out, keep it cooking. You're not a fan, but you keep on looking. Look, don't be concerned with what people saying. Be concerned when they don't care to say it. Funny how people will act like they know you, but they don't even got a clue what they're saying.
Yeehaw, soldiers! It's your boy Anime Stage coming next to you with another video. And for this video, this is a could Naruto play in the NBA type of video, so more so of a discussion. So I think a lot of people are probably gonna be asking, wait, what do you mean? Like, would he have chakra? And my answer to that would be no, because if Naruto had chakra in the NBA, like, it wouldn't be fair. Nor the Ninetales, because that wouldn't be fair either, and I don't think he would be allowed in the NBA, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. To make this a bit easier for regular mortals and other NBA players, the only thing Naruto really have is his stamina, which could actually play a bit of a huge role in terms of him being a fantastic NBA player, because it's good to be able to go on the court for a very extended period of time, you know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there's some other factors going into NBA games, but you know what I'm saying. So, I guess the first question you'd probably ask, could he play in the NBA? Well, around 19 years old, Naruto was 6'2". So, that actually is comparable point guard size. Now, he could probably also play shooting guard, but I feel like point guard fits him a bit more, because if we're trying to remember, Naruto's goal for the entirety of the series was trying to become Hokage. And Naruto, by this point, had established some of the leadership qualities. He wasn't going to become Hokage yet, as Kakashi was there for the time being. But Naruto at the moment probably had a decent amount of leadership qualities about him, especially with what he saw from the war arc. Now, why don't we talk about how would Naruto establish himself as a force in the NBA? Well, actually, let me go into the other side of the argument of where Naruto could be in terms of, like, weight. Because Naruto, when he was in, like, Shippuden, he was, like, 5'11", and 120 something pounds, which means that he was kind of a very lanky, skinny guy who just happened to have a six-pack. And when I saw his weight at that point, I'm like, that can't be right. You can't be 5'11 and 120 pounds. Then again, he was 15, but still, it's very weird. Now, let's just say he probably has gained weight to adjust for his size at that point in time, and maybe he's eating a bit more healthier. So I'd probably say that he probably is around 170, 180, maybe 109 pounds, which would at least fit a little bit of his weight a bit more. Maybe he's added some muscle as well, so that's a pretty good positive. Maybe he would probably have to bulk up a little bit more if he's on the lower end of that spectrum, but you know what I'm saying? He's pretty much at a good position. It's kind of why I think that point guard would be fine for him, because again, he probably would have to bulk up a little more, and a lot of shooting guards are around 6'4" or higher, so yeah. Now, I guess a lot of you guys are probably wondering, who would be his, like, best comparison? To me, if we're trying to make him to a leader, a guy who can make his team better, a great example of that is Chris Paul. A guy like Chris Paul is a great defender. He's a good free-point shooter. Not great. He's not a Steph Curry, but he's a good free-point shooter. He's a good mid-range. He's also pretty good at cross-ups. He's a good all-around point guard, and and most important thing is he's great at his passing. He's, of course, one of the all-time greatest point guards besides guys like Magic, John Stockton, all those types of guys. Now, hopefully Naruto won't inherit his lack of ability to get past the second round, but I feel like a great comparison for Naruto would be a guy who is able to make his team overall better, and that is a guy like Chris Paul. Now, you could argue, well, would he really be that great of a defender in the NBA? And to me, it would probably be like, yes, because Naruto would actually put effort. Because Naruto has been able to put effort into a lot of stuff, such as learning jutsus and stuff like that. And when Naruto is able to put his mind to something, he will complete it. And with Naruto, it feels like he would probably work on both ends of the floor, both offensively and defensively. If you want to argue, he probably wouldn't. Maybe more so go into a guy like Kyrie Irving, who's more of an offensive superstar versus defense. He's not a great defender, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, Kyrie Irving's at defense, but he's a very good, great offensive superstar, especially in a shot creating type of aspect, which is kind of a little bit, feels like a little unconventional. I'm saying he's more of like, it seems like unconventional fit, but I would just more so say that as a guy who can really make his teammates better, it feels like a Chris Paul type of guy, maybe even John Stockton. So that's where I am in terms of like NBA comparisons. It's like you could also argue like maybe Allen Iverson, who played around a 2 guard, but he also could play as a 1 as well. Because again, Allen Iverson was like 6 feet, but again, shooting guard was kind of more of like his thing, I guess. But at the same time, it's like Naruto does have the toughness, but Allen Iverson's kind of a different breed. Yeah, I mean, he can definitely make a team get to the team to the finals. We've seen that when he was able to get to the finals with Dikembe Mutombo as probably his best teammate. And by the way, that was an older Dikembe Mutombo. I love Allen Iverson, really good player. I feel like a better comparison would be a guy like Chris Paul, which who knows, that could be a pretty good thing, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I think a lot of you guys are probably going to be wondering, well, alright, so if he can play in the NBA, like, would he be drafted in modern era? Would he be drafted in, like, this era? Or, like, actually, would he even be good? Like, what's the worst case scenario? Okay, so before I go into, like, where he could be drafted, I would probably have to go into, like, worst case scenario, which, if I ever did a web series, I would probably go with best case scenario, but I want to go over, like, a guy who could probably, where Naruto could be in terms of his floor. So, at worst, in terms of, like, bust comparisons, it could be a guy like Johnny Flynn. I've never seen Naruto as a type of, in terms of archetypes, as, like, the guy who's, like, going to be amazing at shooting. Like, it could happen, definitely, but I don't see it. I would probably more so say go with something like more so, again, unconventional, with a Kyrie Irving type of ability who's good at 3-point shooting, or like Chris Paul as well, but like isn't like a Steph Curry, Ray Allen type of guy. But in terms of like worst case scenario where he isn't really that much of an offensive threat, that probably had to go to Johnny Flynn, who was taking over Stephen Curry conveniently, and of course was taking over DeMar DeRozan and Drew Holiday as well. And again, not saying that Naruto there's not potential for like Naruto to become a Steph Curry like player, because like Steph Curry can make his team better as well, and he's also had times where he's also been a great defender at times when he had a great steal average. But you know what I'm saying, it's like I feel like the Chris Paul and the Kyrie Irving comparison is a little bit better for Naruto. But the thing I can like say when it comes to Johnny Flynn is like wasn't a great player. It was taking over some much better All-Stars. And of course, was out of the NBA within like, and never really averaged higher than like 5.6 points after averaging 13 his rookie year. So he had those injury issues and stuff like that, but like, it was not good. Also, my God, and also wasn't that great of a 3-point shooter either, because he had like a lower 3-point average versus the rest of the league. So yeah. And by the way, that's the league average, because if we compare to like 2018 like / 2019, the league average for 3-point shooting, I believe when I last looked it up, was like 35.7%. Johnny Flynn had highest 3-point percentage in his career was his rookie year at 35.1, and even in an era where 3-point percentage wasn't that great, or not many teams really were into the free ball, it was starting, but it wouldn't come until like guys like Curry entered the league and stuff like that. But it's like, nah. Or actually, it may have been 37.3. I'll have to double check that. I might be getting my stats wrong, but just know that it's like he's not that great for 3-point shooter. But I guess the next question is like, are there any other comparisons? Well, there could be Nick Stout. Sorry, not Nick Stout. Jimmer Ferdette. Jimmer Ferdette was taken 10th and was taken by the Canes over guys like Klay Thompson and Kawhi Leonard, although he actually was traded by the Canes, but the Canes are probably better off like staying put and being like, no, we're gonna take Klay or Kawhi. It's like, no, we're gonna stick with Jimmer Fredette, and he's not gonna really produce. But then again, it's not a great comparison. It's just more for like height reasons, because Naruto and him are 6'2", but Jimmer Fredette was more of like one of those shooter type of players. So I guess we're gonna have to go into, okay, what draft class would he be in 1997? No, because Naruto at that point would be 12 years old, and the manga was actually published in 1987. So I guess your next question would be like, okay, then what draft would he be? Well, fast forward 7 years later, and we're going with the 2004 draft class, which include guys like Dwight Howard. Yeah, Dwight Howard, you know, from his Orlando days, not what happened with the Lakers. I mean, he was good for the Rockets, but not nearly the same player he was for Orlando. That's just how good Orlando Dwight was. So, where would he be in terms of point guards? Well, there was guys like Sean Livingston, Devin Harris, and of course, a man named Sebastian Telfair. Oh, God. So, I think, in my honest opinion, that... Oh, there's also Jameer Nelson, pretty good all-star type, decent all-star type point guard. But you could make the argument that he could be taken by the Clippers, or they still take Sean Livingston, and then his career gets derailed by injuries. Oh, God. So I feel like the most likely destinations would be Dallas or the freaking Trailblazers. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of that decision making. If I ever like saw him as NBA team in 2004, and the reason being is that like Devin Harris was probably and I guess like Sean Livingston were probably some of the better point guards besides like guys like Jameer Nelson. It's kind of like a disappointment there because 2004 draft class didn't really produce that many like, crazy players besides Dwight Howard. But you know, it's like whatever, I guess. But yeah, it's more. Well, Lil Dane's good, and so is Andre Iguodala, but still not a very deep draft class. You know what I'm saying? Although Kevin Martin would be using like the Timothy James Harden trade. I mean, but again, not in terms of like all-star power like the 2009 draft class. But you know, whatever, I guess. But if we were to put Naruto in the Dallas Mavericks, he would be with Dirk. And by the way, the Wizards had that pick, but they traded to Dallas. So maybe it's like we switch it up and he goes to Dallas instead of you know, Devin Harris, and Devin Harris gets sent to the Trailblazers, and then Telfair goes wherever, I guess, probably to where the Nuggets, or he gets drafted higher, I don't know, but that's just kind of my mindset right there. So yeah, that's kind of where my opinion of where Naruto would go. You could also argue you could go to Trailblazers or Sebastian Telfair, and that could be interesting. So I guess I would have a couple questions for you. One, what archetype would Naruto fit more? Kyrie Irving, maybe AI, John Stockton, or how about a guy like Chris Paul? Or you could, and then I think the next argument would be what team we go to in the 2004 draft. Would it be the Dallas Mavericks or the freaking Trailblazers? I wouldn't mind doing either of them because honestly, Trailblazers have had some pretty good players like Brandon Roy before Roy had his career ruined. And then you also remember Devin Harris, and he wasn't that great until he went to the Nets on that one All-Star year. I mean, Devin Harris was a good player, and then he kind of averaged an All-Star, got an All-Star on the Nets. But for a guy like Naruto Uzumaki to be on the Mavericks, it could probably give Dirk his first championship. Who knows? Like, that's a peculiar possibility, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Naruto Uzumaki and Dirk play together. That could be interesting. And again, I guess you all are probably we'll send him to the Clippers. And no, I'm not sending Naruto to the Clippers with Donald Sterling. No. And that's for obvious reasons. So I guess that's probably the end of this video. Let me know what you think. I do have a decent amount of basketball knowledge, and maybe I could do some in another sport called football with Naruto Uzumaki. I do know of a decent archetype where he could fit there in terms of like wide receiver, cornerback. So let me know if you want me to do a video on that type of subject. And I guess that's about the end of the video. Make sure to follow my social medias, Twitter at AnimeStage4, Instagram anime_stage4, and of course join my Discord. And this is more so unscripted because I kind of already had a feeling what I was going to say, but you know, that's all I got to say, I guess. This has been your boy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and share the video. This has been your boy, the Anime Stage, signing out. Peace, YEEHAW. Bye-bye.